What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Well, we're going to do another comments and questions video. This time, this one is from the Italian cemetery video that I put up last week. With that one with the gravestone that was shaped like a casket. It's that video. I asked all you guys to get your comments, your questions in, because I was going to do another video of this nature. Now, the last video I did, a lot of you seem to enjoy me reading your comments and questions and then responding or answering. So we're going to do another one. Like I said, this is from the Italian cemetery video from last week. So let's get on with it. And let's see here. I got a question from Lisa. It says, not a single unattractive photo on any of these tombstones. It's readily apparent that people took pride in their appearance and valued having portraits taken. Very, very true. You can see on a lot of those portraits, people are in their Sunday best. They are looking good, hair combed, groomed, everything. There's members of my family that lived in a lot of these, older times, and said it was a big deal when you had to go down and go to the portrait studio or whatever, do family photos. You put your, like I said, your Sunday best on and get down there, I can remember as a child, I'm sure a lot of you guys can too, having to go down as a child, put my best clothes on and go down to JCPenney and take photos at JCPenney. My mom had my sister and I think, do that a couple times from what I remember. Or you put your good clothes on, go down and, Christmas time, go down and see Santa for a photo as well. But yeah, definitely, I do agree with you on that, Lisa. The next comment comes from Max. I don't think you get a beat an Italian cemetery. Just outstanding. Thanks for the amazing photos. Well, Max, thank you for that. It is true. The photos on these stones, all cemeteries, a lot of the old stones are amazing. But the Italian cemetery, on another note, you said you can't, I don't think you can beat an Italian cemetery. Definitely, it's a beautiful place. A lot of the monuments are, outstanding. Visually, it's just a beautiful place. And I think visually, the Italian cemetery, while it's here in California, it feels like you're in another country when you step in there and see a lot of those, stones and monuments in there. All right, from Betty. Gems, each and every one. Thanks so much for taking us and showing us these beautiful people. Well, Betty, thank you for coming back time after time after time and watching the videos. I do appreciate it. From Kathy. I know I say this every time, but I absolutely love the porcelain photos. Thanks for the tour, Tony. Well, thank you, Kathy. Like I said, I love the photos too. A lot of times the photos tell you a lot about the individual, Sometimes they're in certain clothes or certain uniform or whatever. And just by the photo, you could tell maybe what they did for a living, So it's a very, very cool thing. So thank you. Michael. This comment comes from Michael. The photos are really fascinating. The grave with the top part shaped like a casket is very unique. Great walking tour. Thank you so much, Tony. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Well, thank you, Michael. Yes, that stone to me, that was shaped like a casket. In that cemetery, but that cemetery is humongous, and I don't think I've seen everything in that cemetery. But thus far, that is one of the most unique stones I think I've seen in that cemetery, or any cemetery for that matter. But yeah, definitely, that stone was very, very unique and very, very cool. User JG7FS2KN5Y. Well, that's a username. There you go. Love the Italian cemeteries and the pictures. We don't have many photos in Britain. They were not allowed, but are getting more popular. Wow, I did not know that. So thank you, user, for shedding some light on that. And yes, it seems like in the old days, it was, at least out here, it was a pretty popular thing. And it seems like, in some of the more modern cemeteries, it seems to be making a comeback that I've seen. I've seen pictures, more modern pictures here and there. Lisa D. The photos are always wonderful. Nice to see a face with the name. Thanks for the shout out. Glad I could help. As always, excellent video to all. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Well, Lisa, thank you so much. Yes, thank you for the photo. you were the one, Lisa, that helped me with my grandparents' photos that I put at the end of that video. So thank you so much, Lisa, for your help on that. You are all, you're always been really helpful and very valuable. When I'm stumped on something, Lisa, you're able to find a needle in a haystack. And thank you for going to find a grave and taking my grandparents' gravestone photos and colorizing them. That was a very, very cool thing. So thank you so much. Cheryl, outstanding. These stones are stunning, and the pictures tell us so much. Well, thank you so much, Cheryl. And yes, I do agree with you. The pictures do tell you a lot. Like I said, sometimes from the pictures, you could tell maybe what they did for a living, Maybe they had, like I said before, they had a certain uniform. They were like in the military, had a uniform, or you could tell they were a fireman or a policeman or something. So thank you so much. Spitfire Kev, top job, Tony, as always. Thank you so much, Kev. I do appreciate it. You do a great job on your videos as well, my friend. And like I said in the last video when I answered your comment, saying to the audience here, if you're not subscribed to Spitfire Kev, go check him out. He does cemetery videos and awesome videos all the way around. Corgus 175. So sad, the photos of the little children. Rest in peace to all. Yes, it's always sad when you see, excuse me, allergies here. It's always so sad when you stumble across children's graves. That's the one thing that, I've got a heart of steel sometimes. But the one thing that melts my heart and makes me sad in these cemeteries a lot of times is the children's section. You walk through and then there's photos on the stones of the children. It makes it even more sad. Children that never had a chance to really, grow up and live, didn't even get a chance to get their life started. A lot of times in the older days, even they died of a lot of diseases and stuff. And it always is very sad to see the children's graves. Yes. Steve Masterson, 1577. Nice to see such a tidy cemetery and no grass to grow over the graves. It's a good thing. And some lovely photos. Yes, that cemetery, Italian cemetery, they keep that very well groomed, manicured. They're groundskeepers. That cemetery is on top of it, keeping everything straight, tidy, nice. It is one of the most visually stunning cemeteries I've ever seen. So yes, definitely. Well, I'm going to spell this one out because this is a very long and unique name. It's from ELAPASZCZYNSKI 495. I couldn't even begin to be able to pronounce that one. I love the pictures, what they have. Yes, definitely. The pictures are very, very cool. So yeah, thank you for your comment there. Brenda Carter, thanks, Lisa. You didn't leave them up very long, talking about my grandparents' photos at the very end of that video. A couple of pictures look like drawings. Send that win to my part of Texas. So yes, talking about my grandparents' photos, yeah, I was the one that didn't leave them up very long in the editing process. I thought I left them up with enough time, but they kind of went away kind of quick. My apologies on that, but if you want to go back to that video and, pause it at the very end, you can see my grandparents' photos and, their names and everything that I had put up at the very end of that video. And a lot of those photos, it seems like when you look at them on the stones, not my grandparents, but like other stones that I've come across, it seems like some of those photos are actual sketches or drawings of people. Maybe the photo was edited and that's how they would edit the photos back in the day, is kind of go over and draw stuff over the photo. But yeah, definitely some of those photos back in the old days, early 1900s, it seems like, or late 1800s, it seems like a lot of those photos, like some of them did look like they were sketched or drawn. It was very, very odd. I come across those every so often. Linda Lowe. A very beautiful cemetery. Thank you so much, Linda. Definitely, I do agree with you on that. Gorgeous cemetery. Ellen, Sea Farm Girl. 4 hearts. Well, thank you, Ellen. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate you coming back and watching the videos every single time. You've always been very supportive of my channel, and I do thank you. Jacqueline, brilliant video. Well, thank you, Jacqueline. I don't know how brilliant my videos are, but thank you for that comment. But I just kind of, I film and I put up what I love, and I love doing these cemetery videos. It's like a treasure trove. You never know what you're going to find next, Gary Warren, greetings from Poteet, Texas, and thanks for another great video. Well, Gary, thank you, and greetings from California. And I do appreciate you coming on and watching the videos, and I said it once and I'll say it again and I'll say it a million more times. Without you guys, there is no Crypt door. So thank you guys so much. Roberto. Greetings from Italy, Tony. Well, greetings from California, my friend. My Italian brother, Roberto. Watching many Italian people immigrated also in the West Coast, California. Yes, definitely. My grandparents immigrated to California and all that. And they did come over here, and definitely a lot of people did immigrate, All right. My Rayad Hughes 457, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And if I'm not, forgive me. With older black and white photos, there was tinting that could be done by the photographer's studio on the salt paper photo. This was often watercolor or ink that could add colored, or if the photo appeared too grainy, it could be enhanced by darkening with ink. Likely the picture of the deceased at 10 minutes 49 seconds had some of this tinting done to the original photo to heighten the contrasts. Well, that sounds like someone with some photo knowledge, so thank you very much for that insight on the photo from 10 minutes 49 seconds into that video. Much appreciated. And all you guys' input and comments and everything are always very appreciated. Attila, I wonder if there is the meaning behind the checkerboard pattern on the sides of the monuments. It seems to be on a lot of graves. You see the same pattern on all Masonic art. Is there any reason given for its use? Well, I did Google it. that question about the checkerboard pattern. I could be wrong here. Anybody else knows better than me? You throw it out in the comment box below. But when I did Google the checkerboard pattern on some Masonic art, I came up with this. Checkered flooring has become a de facto sign of Freemasons. It signifies some members' connection to biblical parables and morals. And it also links to the lectures and teachings pertaining to the construction of Solomon's temple. So hopefully that sheds some light. Like I said, if any of you guys know better than me, then throw it out in the comment box below. Willa Z Blue, if I'm pronouncing that right. Post-mortem pictures, they took a picture of the corpse, and then the artist at the photographer studio would oil paint the eyes and try to give an impression of life. Some were better than others. A lot of working poor could not afford photos, but life insurance provided funds for a final portrait. Well, thank you for your insight on that one. Much appreciated. Lawyer Calhoun. On the East Coast, we have nothing like these underground family tombs that are common in this cemetery. I wonder if the cemetery built these pre-need and then sold them to customers already completed. That would seem to make sense, as they all look pretty much the same other than the memorial marker with the names inscribed. Now, I know the monument company, there's a couple of monument companies in the area there in Colma. There's one called, I think it's called Braz Memorials, and there's another one called V. Fontana and Company. Now, for when I took the Italian cemetery tour, the tour guide talked about V. Fontana a lot and said they built like almost a lot of stuff in that cemetery. Now, were they built pre-need? I mean, were they built before they were needed? Because they all looked alike. I don't know if they were built as people died. I really don't know. I could go back and maybe find the guy that gave the tour and ask that question. But definitely, yeah, there was one of the companies did a lot of that stuff in that cemetery, and that is V. Fontana and Company. And they're crazy that they're right across the street from the Italian cemetery. And I did a video taking a short tour of their workshop. I did it like some months ago, last year sometime. If you guys want to look up that. The video's titled, I think, How It's Done, how memorials are made or whatever it was. I can't remember what I titled it. But I do have a tour of V. Fontana and Company's workshop on my channel. Thelma. During World War II, my grandfather left his work in Pennsylvania coal mines to return to the old country and fight for Italy. My grandmother and her infant son, my father, stayed in Pennsylvania until he returned. I wondered if other Italian-American families had similar experiences. There are a number of old gravestones in our family of that generation who had photos on the gravestone, but this is not a tradition that our family has continued to carry on. Well, I can remember being told about one of my uncles. Well, I mean, I heard it out of his own mouth. All my aunts and uncles, I knew all my aunts and uncles. I had an uncle that was basically, he was an American citizen. He lived in New York. And, of course, Italian. My family's Italian. My dad's side of the family is all Italian. Had returned to Italy, from what I was told, the story goes, had returned to Italy to visit family during, I think it was World War II. And basically, I guess, I don't know if he was going into Italy or trying to get out to come home. For what I was told, I know stories get skewed over the years, but for what I was told, his papers were seized, and they basically told him, you're not going to go back home. You're going to stay here and fight in our military. And I think basically it was something to the effect of, and if you don't, we're going to kill you, or something like that. So one of my uncles was in the Italian military, forced to serve during World War II for them. And he basically eventually became a prisoner of war and escaped and into France. I guess him and another guy were able to escape, and they were in France. And a family, you've heard this before about other scenarios, but a family hid them in their attic for a while until they can get home. So that was a similar experience but it sounded like my uncle was forced into doing it. So thank you for your question, Thelma. Robert. When are you coming to Pennsylvania? Well, Robert, I don't know. I've only really traveled to Hawaii to film videos, to New Orleans, and to Los Angeles thus far. I'm still, I would consider myself still a fairly small channel. I kind of get the travel in when I can get it in. I really don't know, but I would love at some point to be able to regularly travel for this channel. But we're not there yet. So just, keep your ears peeled, and I'll let you guys know when I do travel to film content. I'll keep you guys posted, I guess. Dreamliner tours. Are most of these the large underground family mausoleum vaults? Yes. They are basically, during the video, the Italian cemetery video, you see me walk by the private family vault mausoleums that were above ground. A lot of them you could see as I walked or in the distance or whatever. When I took the tour of the cemetery last year, I think it was roughly this time last year when I took the tour. Basically, what you see above ground, it's what's under the ground on those underground ones that I'm showing you guys. So basically, the way it's set up, 3 people on the left or 3 people on the right or whatever, that's how it's set up underground from what our tour guide told us about that cemetery. So thank you for your question there. Grandma Karen, wow, your grandparents died young. What happened with the children, or were they mostly grown by then? So my grandparents, I don't know in the video I didn't say my grandparents. I said my father's parents. I didn't mean to say that way, but I never knew my grandparents. My father, he was born in 1943. He doesn't remember his parents either. So basically, it's my father, and he's got 3 older sisters. My father, I guess from what I understand, was, you know, a late in life baby. My father was born in 1943. My father's father, my grandfather, was born in 1899. So they were a little older when they had my dad. And I do believe, from what I remember being told, when my father was still a little guy, my grandmother died first. I think it was an aneurysm. And then about a year and a half later, my grandfather died of a heart attack. So basically, my dad's older sisters and the grandmother took part in taking care of my father. And then when my dad's oldest sister got married and moved out and started her own family, she took my dad in and finished raising him with her own children. Now, I think I've told this story before, and I can't remember where, but I have a bad memory sometimes, that all of my aunt's kids, which are my first cousins, for like the first 10 years of their life or whatever, thought that my dad, they called my dad Pete. Well, my dad's name was Pete. He was actually Batista Jr. or Batista, but he went by his middle name, which was Peter. They called him Pete. All of my first cousins, my aunt's kids, and the other children from the other sisters, they all thought Uncle Pete was their brother for like the first 10 years of their life, you know, because he was actually not that far apart in age from a lot of my first cousins. But so there's a little interesting tidbit for you guys right there. To give you a little bit of context here, my dad's oldest sister that took care of him and raised him, finished raising him when the parents passed, she was 18 years older than him. And I think it went with, like, the oldest was 18, and I think it was like the next one down was 16 years older, and the next one down after that, my dad, 3 sisters, was like 14 years older. I could be wrong on the ages of my other 2 aunts, but I know the oldest sister was like 18 years older than my dad when he was born. So there you go, guys, a little bit of clarity on that. And I think we're going to wrap up this video. So thank you so much for watching. Forgive me for butchering some of your names, these unique names or long names. Forgive me if I butchered some of your names. And we'll do a video like this again. Maybe the next one I do will be on the columbarium video from the other day with the floors 2, the floors 2 and 3 that were not completed. Maybe I'll do another questions, comments thing on that video. So thank you all so much, and I will talk to you guys later.